Hello traders, we're going to review XRP, just some simple cycle work. We're kind of getting into an important zone, so the homework needs to be done. This is kind of the setup, right, of the history on the XRP. This is bar chart data right here. From high to low, about 574. From high to high, about 852. Now, these are all approximate. I never try to get real precise, right? If it looks good, let's put it in. So anyway, let's go through those numbers, right? Well, let's go through the long one, 852. Which is right here. Now, of course, you run it down as a cycle, right? So doubling this out would projected this low pretty doggone good. It might have been off a day or two, but within a week, it's even 2 weeks is pretty good for that long term cycle. So you can see, and it wasn't quite parallel. Let me run a parallel one and see if it hit anything. Yeah, I kind of hit these highs. So again, just to show the importance of these cycles, right? All right, now let's run the 574 down. I kind of did this ahead of time. And the 574 from the secondary high hit this high, right? So again, the secondary event was pretty important, which you always keep track of, right? And that and the pivot right down here, which you can't quite see, but those pivots are just as important. The 1, 2, 3 pattern, the ABC, that initial pivot is always important. But anyway, it kind of matched up with this high. So from high to high was or from high to low, 574, and from high to high was 574. So again, the cycle was important to keep track of. Now let's run the 282 from the low, also hit this high. So again, history proved itself out into the future. All right, now let's continue on with this mission. Now this one will be live from here on out, so it'll be a little more clunky as I go through it. But let's just copy this one. Again, it's kind of important just to kind of see where we're at, right? It hit the secondary high up there. So 282, I can't see it. Let me do it this way. 282, close enough. 281, 282. So again, it hit this high. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up there. So you understand where it's going to. The secondary event once again, right? All right, now let's go to the 574. Again, I have no idea. I've never done this, so 574. Well, it kind of hit that. Let's do another one. See if we can find anything off the highs. Kind of hit that low as well. Let's keep going and see if we can find. Again, there's always a dominant force, right? In every market, you just gotta kind of know what it is. It'll go from the high. That was kind of nothingness. All right, so we kind of figured out that one. And now let's go the 282. I believe that was the one we had to do yet, right? No, we already did that one. The 852. Now that's from high to high to high, right? Oops, I did multiples. Let's just do it this way. 852. 852, okay. We'll run her backwards a little bit. 852 was this high from this point. Of course, that's the low. We already know that. Let's take it from this low. 852 was this high. Down to the primary. Again, it's picking it. These little swings are just as important as the main high. Let's do another one just for government's work. Let's see if there's anything in the current zone. 852. Yeah, it came off of this low. 874. 850. Oh, I was looking at the wrong number. 852. Can't quite get it lined up, but you can see that all these are pretty accurate. So this one is kind of one that's in the current zone. Let's run these smaller ones forward just to kind of see. Here's the 282 one. Really nothing there. Kind of. I kind of picked this low. High to low, 852. So that was accurate. Again, everything should prove itself out. You just got to know which one to use it from, right? 574 is the next one. Let's try duplicating that and see where it comes from. If anything proves itself out. 574. All right. 574. That low to that high. Nothingness. Well, that one was pretty good. 574. Oh, I guess I already did that one. Well, all right, that's good enough. So again, these cycles, it's a simple cycle format, right? I just kind of run them forward and run them back, try to see what if it's in tune yet, right? You know, it's like a frequency. You got an old radio, you got to tune it in. Now, one thing that does happen is a new cycle forms or a new frequency forms, right? This is the frequency, unlike your oscilloscope, right? You know, these up and downs are this frequency of the amount of time it spends between highs and lows and lows and highs, and also this is a frequency, right? All these are small cycles within themselves. Now it's tough, right? Again, I'm curious about this low because again, it looks to me like we are setting it up for a potential bottom. Let me hang on just a second. Let me delete everything. Okay, I deleted everything and kind of set. This is the current, right? Today is August 4th, 2026 at about 8 in the morning. Again, the solar eclipse is coming up in a few weeks, 10 days, again, which is my premise and also WD Gann's premise. And one thing Gann always mentioned in some of his writings was his most important creation or invention or whatever was the 50%. Well, not 50% retracement, right? Not 50% of the range, but the forecasting using 50%. And to me, that's pretty fascinating. Now, here's 50%. Now, this is what I do in all my charts. I don't care what it is, futures, stocks, cryptos. I use this tool in my toolbox. Now, it's not 100% accurate. Nothing ever is. Hopefully, you never take anything that anybody says with a grain of salt. You prove it out to yourself and do history. Now, you can see this here. These are the pointers, right? Now, this is the current pointer that we're using. And you go down to 50%. Good enough. And again, you square that range out. Now, again, it was already beyond that range, right back here in this. Let me see if I can draw something in here. In this zone right here. Hang on. Okay. In this date right here, this day was already beyond that scope, right? So again, or beyond the square, if you want to call it, the range square. So now you keep going. Let me move my little pointer I just made. And then you go to the next level, which is logically 66% using these pointers. Now until you get a new one, right? Okay, we're beyond, there's 58%, so we got this pointer now to use. Again, it's telling you, the market guides you in the direction. You just have to know how to apply it. And we're looking for 66% from this pointer right here. This one is still valid, but we got a new one to work with. Well, you can see we're already beyond 66%, so we are going to continue down the path. And the next one is 75%. Right about there. Now, this is 75%, which is not uncommon, by the way. Every market tends to break. I don't care what it is, silver, gold, crude oil, maybe not stock market indexes because they're kind of skewed, but everything breaks on their bear market retreat is usually about 65 to 85%. I know that just from my history and my proofs. So as you can see, we're also coming in, and this is also the solar eclipse zone. So I really like this level. It looks like 0.91 on XRP is the target price. Now, I didn't have to hit that, right? It's about the squaring of this range. Let me see. All right, so this is the actual square, right, of the range that we can now draw in. All right, so you can also then apply the upward squaring speed line. Of course, now I got a big fat freaking line. Hang on. Okay, so you can see this is the halfway zone, the one-to-one's going up. And again, you can go back in the past, see how it did, if you can see anything. Um, and you can do the 2x1s, you can go down to the 1x4, 1x8s, whatever, right? You can break those lines down. And of course, you can see this speed line then picks this square or this chart apart because we made it that way, right? So it's not a mathematical one, right, where it's a 1x1 per se. Now, it could be. I don't have a clue. But again, the pointers are telling us where to draw. Now, if it goes beyond this square again, we'll go down to probably 85%, and we'll be use this one, right? Once we break the square, you keep going down. The pointer continues. Um, and that's how Gann, I think, talked about his 50% retracement as his most important find, or I don't know, creation, I guess, whatever. He didn't create it, but he used it, and that's kind of what I do, right? I like this method. It makes a lot of sense to me. The mathematics makes sense, and you go and just go to old charts. God, I hate to waste any more of your time. It's already 15 minutes. We'll do the same thing here. Hang on, let me delete everything. Frick it. I guess if you don't want to watch it, you just delete it. Move on to something else. Let's go to this last little move, right? Here's the pointer right there, right? This little pointer. And we are squaring that out. Oh, I got to put on the 50%. We got to, what am I doing? Percentages. Okay, we're going down 50%. Is our target zone right there. Close enough, right? So again, it was projecting that this level is going to be important. Here was the high, here's the pointer, and this was the 50 percentile that we did hold, right? So really, it was, again, within close enough. You wouldn't have been worried about that little bit, hopefully. And it targeted, right, from this target point. It kind of hit, so you were liking it all the way down, and then, of course, then it hit, this was the actual high. So again, the time and price aspect of this zone worked really well. I mean, we can go back to another example, maybe. Let's go back to this one. Again, this is just XRP. You can do it. Hang on, I'm going to readjust my stuff here. Hey, I do have my pointer. Okay. Okay, let's set up this one. Drag my little pointer over here. Okay, so we are going to run. And again, this is the pointer right now, because it was already out of this square, right? So we're going to go down 50%. Oops. We're going to go down 50%. There's 50%. So, and you can tell that it's out of our target window already, right? Because again, well, I can draw it in for you. And there it is. I mean, obviously we knocked out the belly of it right away. So we are going to continue, and this will be our new pointer, if it's logical. And there's 75%. I just happened to get lucky and go to that. So that is the pointer. So let me spread this out a little bit. So this, oops, hang on. Let me get it in the zone. Okay, 74. Oh, it's so hard to get exact. So again, I'm kind of using this one. So that is your squaring of the range, right? This is the measurement, 75%. So this was our target area once we knew it busted out. And now, of course, if you can copy this square until the range is broken, right? And of course, the squares go up and down, and all the trend lines are appropriate, right? So here's a 1x2, 2x1, again, because we added an extra square, right? And you can see, kind of pick these highs up here, and of course, you can do the same thing. Here's your 1x2 or 2x1, and again, just kind of running it off stuff to see how it looks. Run it off this low. Again, it picks stuff. So again, that's how I double check things, is with the trend lines. So that again kind of worked really well. Gave you the target price. Now, if you were exact, you'd have missed it, right? Because if you had orders in at 75%. Now again, you used something else to get you in, though, right? You don't just absolutely buy it at 75% down or 50% down, right? You should probably give yourself a 2-day trend line indicator. Maybe you like moving averages, stochastics, or whatever you like, whatever your flavor is. That's what you use then. Okay, I burn up more. I was just going to do a 5-minute video. But again, these concepts work really well on all different markets. Now, the XRP, Bitcoin, all the cryptos really are pretty violent, right? So logically, they tend to go beyond the normal. Now, a stock index, 33% is more logical, right? Because again, the indexes take away the crap and leave only the good stuff, right? So again, the index is a skewed thing. Now, if you trade just Apple or Nvidia, or Qualcomm or something, right? Whatever stock. Again, they're all, you have to look back at the history and it'll give you a pretty prime example, right? Well, you can go back and see what the volatility is on XRP. I could do it. Nah, I won't do any more examples. You can work them out, but you kind of understand that 50% is the start to me. It doesn't have to get down there, right? It's just targeting for time and price, preferably. But again, I just think it's a pretty fascinating deal. It works really well along with this other stuff. Um, and then the annuals, right? Like this annual here is April 14th. You keep track of especially these spiky highs. That one looks like January 3rd, and you keep track of the low annuals, and you keep those in your back of your mind. I have a calendar on Google Calendar. Well, let me just pull it up here. That I created with Claude's help, and I have the cryptos the top 6, I just call them. So I have all those in here. And you can see that the 5th, what's today? Today's the 4th. So we have August 5th. There's quite a bit of annuals that come up. Now, again, I do that religiously, right? This calendar helps me. And I also put the stocks in there, which you can see. And then ex-dividend days, stuff like that I think that turn the market. And the solar clip stuff, which I'm really a big fan of. August 12th is that. So I think one of those cycles was around the 13th. So again, the 12th is your first solar eclipse, then the lunar is the 28th. Got to keep rambling. I could talk charts all day, and I don't know if anybody cares anyway. So, but this is the calendar that I created. You can put whatever you want on it, right? And I go out to 2032, I think, or something, and it just tells me what I need to know on the annual side. Now you can put anything in there, right? You can put like those time and price of the 50% projection zones. All right, I'm gonna sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up, damn it. Bye.